Welcome to the Land Your Bet Sports Betting Podcast. Josh Lander coming to you with a little Tuesday slate here. Had to wait a sec to get this video out as there's a ton of teams on back-to-backs here with just 5 games to choose from on Tuesday night. Let's just run right through how we did on Monday and get into it for Tuesday's bets. So on Monday, we had Burrows on the show, and our boy saved us because he went 3-2. I went 2-3. Really did not do well on the Cleveland and Orlando game because Jalen Suggs ended up being a late addition to that game. That screwed the Donnie bet. That was a big reason that they went under because Jalen Suggs is such a good defender. And with him out there playing more minutes at really shooting guard and a little bit of point guard, that was a big impact on that game for sure. So we move on with that one. I loved the Jokic pick under 31.5 and Denver to win at least. But our boy did come through with Vooch, who even in overtime couldn't get 11 boards. Butler had a 3, which helped him because he did not get his points, nor did Dame. But Kuzma went under, Butler hit a 3, and so he went 3-2. And so using all of that to say we are now 5-5 on Monday, and on the season 37-27, up 4.8 units. Last week was rough. That's where we lost about 4 units on the total there, and that was tough because it was the IST. We didn't do a great job of reading into it, but we press on. 5-5, not bad. I mean, we did lose almost a unit, but in the record, we're staying above water. So we need to go ahead and press on with some quality bets here today, and that's what I'm feeling, especially with this first couple bets. And I love De'Aaron Fox to go over tonight against the Clippers in the Kings game, both teams on a back-to-back, but 36.5 points and assists for D Fox to go over that. We're talking about a Clippers defense that is definitely weakest against point guards, especially over the course of the last couple weeks when James Harden has really solidified his place in the starting lineup, and they haven't been able to hide him as well as they might have wanted to, giving up the third most points. I'm sorry, I should say the second most points per game to point guards in the last 2 weeks, over 30 a game that they're averaging in terms of allowing points to the opposing point guards on the other team. In the last 3 that D Fox has played against the Clips, 38 points per game in 39 minutes. That's with a 34% usage rate and up to 10 free throw attempts a game for D Fox. He's attacking the weakest part of this defense, which is down the middle. They have really good wings. Once you get down low, Zubac will foul you, and he's a decent rim protector as they do limit points in the paint. But D Fox has the mid-range going against this team, very vulnerable once he gets into the paint as well with the floater and the like. So the free throws obviously indicate that he's getting all the way to the rim or at least getting fouled when he gets there. And that's a really good indicator for what we would like to see from him today because he's shooting about 6 threes against this team, making almost 3 of them. So I don't know if he's going to be that good from deep. If he makes just 1, we do need him to be attacking a bit more, but the assist should also be there once they collapse down low. And I do think Domas should bounce back from a bad game that he had against the Clips last time as well. So I am going to go with D Fox points and assists on the back-to-back for both of those squads. This is probably my favorite bet of the night. I put it at number 2, but let's just get into it. Nate pointed it out, and I dove even deeper into it. Under 31.5 points for DDR, for Demar DeRozan. Big friend of the show, but he's on a back-to-back, as well as this Denver defense on a back-to-back. So I'm expecting a really, really, really slow, choppy game in this one with the Bulls and the Nuggets. Now, the total went up from 213 as an open to 220.5 at this point on most books. And I just think that's because Denver should be able to score decently well against a Bulls team that we still don't even know who's playing. DeMar is the only one with props up. I do think he'll continue to play the back-to-back. He's played 4 back-to-backs this season, and in those games, 18 points per game and 5 assists on the second leg there when he played the night before. Last night, he was coming off a 41-point performance in more than 35 minutes, 11 assists as well. Incredible in performance. Really well done for DDR against the Bucks because they love playing the Bucks, do the Bulls. That 36% usage with that amount of time, like it's just this isn't the young DDR that we might have been used to at times where one of the springiest, spry dudes in the league. It's just not the same situation for him anymore on the second leg of this back-to-back. You've got Denver playing incredible defense on the road and on back-to-backs right now. 108.8 defensive rating when they're on the second leg of these back-to-back games 2 nights in a row. So I think Denver's defense, we know what it is when Aaron Gordon is on the floor and KCP. KCP is a good matchup for him. DDR has not had good success against Denver in this form of the team, especially since he came to Chicago over from the Spurs when he was okay against them. Honestly, he did decently well against a different form of the team when he was on a different team. So this is just not a good situation for the older DeMar DeRozan, who I love, but just can't take in this scenario. So under 31.5 points and assists for him. And then another bet that I really like, and I think you should hit now. I don't know. I think KD is likely to be ruled out. So that's a big impact on Devin Booker over 35.5 points and assists. I like it if KD is in, but I think it goes up, right? So as soon as KD, or I'm sorry, if KD is out, I like it either way. But if KD is ruled out, then this number will go up for Devin Booker, right? The 30 points or so alone will go up to like 32.5 points as soon as we see KD officially ruled out. I do think that's going to happen. It seems like he's not likely to play. But again, even if he does, I still like this bet. In the 3 games without KD this season, 32 a game, 7.5 assists per game as well. In a number of games now, since KD's come to the team, Book without KD, very similar numbers here. Still gets to about 36, 37 points and assists combined. Even with KD, he gets this, right? He gets to about 36 or so. But that number should jump with KD out, right? Either way, I think you take this. I don't think it dips with KD coming in. But either way, that, like I said, the 35.5 for him to get 36 is a great bet with both scenarios in play here. It's annoying that we don't know. I would bank on him not playing. I hit it already, like I said, and I would definitely advise that people do the same. I don't think you need to buy out of it. And if KD comes in, you get what I'm saying. So you're kind of getting ahead of a line that is likely to rise with an announcement that should come out that KD's not playing. Stay tuned to that. Follow along on Twitter, all of it, because I'll be definitely following up there with how I'm going to be playing this moving forward after already having bet Devin Booker at this number, 35.5 points and assists. So hopefully you get that up. Let's go with my fourth bet. We've got a couple of sides or totals here. We're going to go with Sac in LA. Sac is at the Clippers, I should say LAC, under 234.5 in that game. It's both teams on a back-to-back. I know I just tried to take an under with Denver and Atlanta, and that failed. But this is not the same situation, obviously. So with both teams playing on a little bit tired, we should also see fewer fast break points, which incredibly, the Clippers over the course of the last 10 games are fast breaking with the 3rd most points in the league in transition. The Kings are down to 22nd in terms of points per game in the fast break there, which I don't really care because both teams are getting back so well on defense. 2 of the top 5 transition defenses on the season and especially over the course of the last 10 days. When I'm really, that's a lot of that's the sample size I want to use to judge this Clippers team is roughly the last 10 games when we've started to see them mesh into what they're going to be moving forward. The splits lean heavy to the under, last 2 points here. And you look at Sacramento on the road, 8 fewer points per game. The Clippers are only allowing 103 points per game at home right now, scoring 111 themselves when they're in their own building. And like the Kings, like I said, they're playing decent defense, but it's mostly because they're slowing things down and not scoring nearly as much when they get on the road. Back-to-back, same scenario. We've seen these teams go over in other scenarios against like much faster-paced teams. The Kings, we know they want to play at a fast pace. Clippers not going to run with them in this one with the starting lineup, especially with Russ on the bench. Now, maybe there's bench points and bench pace that we see a little bit of an increase there, but like the majority of the minutes going to the starters, we're going to see heavy splits that lean to the under because of the way they play. And with Harden in there has been an under machine because he just takes the air out of the ball. We've seen that be the case with this offense, not necessarily sputtering, but right around a 94 offensive, pace with when they're on offense. So they're not really getting out into transition. Or when they are getting out into transition, it's really just off of misses and other team not getting back. But we see that not be the case with the Kings, who have proven to be very, very good on defense in transition. So let's go with an under in that one. And let's close it out with the Lakers to handle Dallas here. They're -1.5. I can't see Kyrie playing. I mean, the only reports right now are that he's day-to-day and questionable. But it does seem like they're still keeping him out for another week or so. They should be missing him. We just saw them without THJ. He just left last night against this team in their game against the Grizzlies, rather. And he got hurt, had to come out. That's another huge miss for them. And they're also obviously missing still Maxi Kleba. Looks like Grant Williams is not likely to play, and Josh Green. So we're talking about just a ton of guys missing for this team that are going to be really important. I know that the Mavs have won 7 of 8 versus this Lakers team. If anything, I see that as incentive for this Lakers squad after losing all those games and being in a situation now to take advantage of with such an injured Mavs team. Like, you got to come out and really want this one. I think it's really interesting that the Lakers are sitting there in the top 10 at about 14-9 on the season. And that's really because LeBron came out and said, I'm going all out in this tournament. I don't think you can just come out and not play well as LeBron and the Lakers and prove that you don't really care about the regular season outside of that IST. You've got to come out and win this game. The Mavs are bad as underdogs. the Lakers are good as favorites, essentially, and with a rest advantage right now. So the Mavs on the season 1-6 as home dogs, and that dates back to last season because they need a few more games in there. They are 1-4 straight up this season as when they're underdogs of any kind. I should be specific. And they're 5-12 straight up on the second leg of back-to-backs are the Mavericks. So really what we're saying here is the Mavs are in a situation where they don't score on back-to-backs. They don't win on back-to-backs. They don't win when they're a favorite. And this is basically a pick 'em. So I'm basically counting games that are right around under -2 or +2 for them as games that are basically, underdog or however you want to put it. But the Lakers should be in a good position to come here on the road, pick up a win that they really need because initially they were 0-5 on the road to start the season. And they really picked things up by carrying in the in-season tournament and coming back and winning those games on the road as of late. So really like the Lakers in this one. That's the 5th bet and all the time. So let's just run through all 5 of them real quick. I like D Fox over 36.5 points and assists. I like Demar DeRozan under 31.5 points and assists. Devin Booker over 35.5 points plus assists. And then we've got Sack at the Clippers under 234.5 and the Lakers at the Mavericks -1.5 for the Lake Show. As I said, all the time that I have for you today. Appreciate you guys sticking around with me. Plenty of new followers and subscribers in there, so really appreciate all the activity and everybody following along. Jump in the comments. Let me know what you think of the picks. Let me know on who you're betting. I get in there and talk back with you guys. So if you have any questions, any comments, here for all of it. And until I talk to you next, happy betting.